winter of 2022, two cannabis workers set out to gain more perspective on what it's like to work for the East Coast's first legal cannabis industry. Who's making all the decisions? Who's making all the money? And who's doing all the work? Find out on Behind the Bud. Tonight's episode, Shaunius.
All right, everybody, this is Behind the Bud. I'm your host, D-Day. I got our host, Indo, to the left of me right over here. We have our new guest on today, Shaunius.
Shaun
is our
Shaunius.
guest today. We have him here. We're very lucky to have you on, Shaun, because you are our first guest that we've ever had on that has actually worked in cultivation.
Right. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's awesome. If we wanted to start off, like, how did you get started in the weed industry?
A lot of my friends from Marlboro already worked over there. A lot of people. In fact, I think the president of cultivation was a kid I graduated with too.
No
So,
shit.
so
Oh,
yeah,
no
yeah,
shit.
all
Wow.
those dudes. I went to high school with a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And I was needing a job because I was just doing Uber. So I got the I got the weed farm job.
Word. Okay.
Yeah, and it
Weed
just
farm.
so I got in through my friends. They gave me the reference. I got the interview, and it was the best job I ever had in my life.
Really?
For the 2 weeks.
Well,
like
I was
maybe a
going to say
month.
it always starts off.
It
that
was
way,
it was
right?
literally like the most fun I had. I'm like, you know what? This is great. This
Yeah.
is so fun. I learned so much.
Yeah.
Everybody was so chill. Some of my oldest friends were working right next to me. You know, it was awesome.
Mhm. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
So these are people that you knew growing up that were
Yeah, a
working
lot
in
of
this
them.
department.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. And so how did they get started in it? Like, did they know people who had started the company or?
I think so. But a lot of these dudes would already like grew on their own. Were already like
Mhm.
really sick with growing their weed, and it was. They have so much talent over there. My one friend who was from Marlboro is worked in the veg department or whatever. I mean, he'd been growing weed for years. I would see him, and he'd always have the sickest weed. I was like, sick. So it made sense that he would
No
be over
shit.
there. But,
Do you
You're
think
just-
that he got to translate some of that knowledge into the job that he worked in, or?
dude, I think that the place we worked was I think they were lucky to have all those dudes. And I think they threw away so much talent that they had there even before I got there. I think they were
Yeah.
already. It really didn't matter with them, but definitely, it's crazy how you were like, you get arrested for growing weed and then you can actually get a job working
Right.
doing the same shit.
How does your family feel about it, Shaun? Like, were they
My-
supportive of you getting into the industry? Were they?
Yeah,
supportive?
nobody cared. You know, it wasn't.
Really?
It wasn't a big deal. I mean, maybe my grandmother might not like it, but
Right.
oh wait, no, I did tell her that. She was like, "Oh, you're gonna turn into one of those guys who smokes pot all day."
Yo,
And I'm just like, "No, Grandma,
that's-
no, I'm
yeah,
not.
that's real.
That happened
That's
already.
real.
That's been
That happened.
that's already what happened." It's funny because some of my family that you wouldn't expect, they ended up going and buying stuff from our old place of.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
That's like, yeah, that was.
and you know
that's
they had it in the freezer. You know what I mean? It's like, oh well, it's for if guests come here. It says to freeze if you want it to last longer. It's like, oh, cool. But no, I mean, which is awesome. I love it. But
Yeah.
but yeah, that whole can of curious market, which honestly, I don't think it was the right move. I think it's like that's not the best market you want to get with
You're saying
Cannabis.
that they courted the can of curious market too much.
our
and-
place. Definitely did.
Oh,
Would you
okay,
say?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I
Now,
mean,
your place, just to clarify, right? This is the place where y'all worked at.
I
You
call
were-
it the chum bucket.
the chum bucket.
Sorry, that's
the
what
chum
we
bucket.
came
The
from.
chum bucket.
That's the chum
Okay,
bucket.
I'm fine with that. That
Right.
works.
Sean's one of the people who started the game essentially around the same time I did.
When we were working there, it was during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
COVID broke out. It was so funny wearing a mask all the time and then
Yeah.
having the whole mask thing happen when everybody was so open. I was like, dude, I'm in this shit all day. It's just like, how are you going to harvest $1 million like 7 times a week
Mhm.
and get paid $17 to plant
Seriously.
it, bag it and send it out the door? That's insane, man.
Yeah,
That
man.
is that's skilled labor. That's it's got to
Yeah.
get unionized all the way. That's
Cultivation is
plumbing.
100%.
It's the cannabis. That's just farming, dude. I don't know how the agriculture works, the agriculture like unions and stuff
Right,
like that,
right.
but that's no joke, man. I don't know.
Yeah. So lead us through your day. Like, you worked in cultivation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what level of cultivation did you start working at? Like, when you
I
started
pretty
working
much
there?
was always in the sort of like laborer a position of just like the starting up the planting and the arranging of the rooms. What the hell is it called? I'm so out of it. But I didn't really do a lot of the vegetation stuff. I started doing that toward the end, which was cool. All the cutting the buds on the top and doing all that.
Mhm.
Sure.
And making all that, all that fancy shit. But it was all the dirty work, man. We shoveled a bunch of the big ass bags of soil.
Yeah.
Got lined up 100 of those black 6-gallon bins and
100
poured all the. I mean,
Dude, that's what they do for 8 hours.
It would
man.
be
All day
literally a pyramid of these things, man. There would be
Yeah,
600. We'd set up the whole room. Dude, it was fun, man. I loved it for the first. I'm like, this is, I was like active. I was busting my ass, but it's fine. You get to, I mean, honestly, you come in, you could shower. They had the showers there. It's honestly kind of disgusting, but it was great. It got
that.
gross.
So you actually you would come in and shower.
You had to shower. There was the air,
Really?
all that stuff.
So-
honestly, you're supposed to shower when you come in, so you don't bring pesticides. That was the whole thing too. They were always trying to fight the.
When I
bugs.
first
I feel like
started,
that's a common thing.
during those days, they took their shit serious. You had pride coming in on a day. Like when you wore cultivation shit, you had dirt on you, but like y'all, it was like a medal. Like, you know what I mean? You guys were putting in the work in the very beginning. Like when you first got there, it was just
dude, that's a lot of work, man.
coming into having to shower. Like y'all, like you, when we used to go on break, you guys had to shower. You guys were like, you know what I mean? It looked like it was more serious. It felt like it was more serious. Like,
Yeah, dude.
we can't get shit in on us. We had airlocked tunnels and shit. You'd go through an airlock, go through like the
Airlock. So
facility.
I just like play by play. I kind of want to hear like what it sounds like to enter this place. Like
You
this
get
is
in
what
the
I wanna hear.
morning.
Right?
You smell like weed right as you get into the front door until you've worked there for like a few days even, and then you just don't even notice it. But it's when you haven't been there, you smell that shit. You come in, you get into the locker room, you put your shoes down, you put your clothes in the locker, you get your scrubs, you get your Crocs. I feel like you could just shower at home, get in your scrubs, and be in the airlock and be good.
Sure.
But I think I would always just shower on the way out because I was dirty as shit. But
right.
then you walk through the locker, which was tiny, and we had like fucking 40 dudes at one time. There was like
Really? 40
20
people
lockers.
getting ready at the same time.
Well, people would cascade in.
To be
but
fair,
like,
it was different departments. It was different departments together.
Oh man,
so it's
that
a lot of
shit
people.
sucked. And then you'd come through the airlock. Yeah, it's just like a little door. You could fit like maybe 2 or 3 people in there, right, at a time.
Yeah,
it blows all up and down, and you come through the other way. They had the sticky mats,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't track anything in there. Yeah, and there's a little break room. They give you your stipend of $30 a week for disgusting food in the fridge. That
oh my god,
people would have,
Okay.
$270 on their card.
Yep.
And because they just
didn't want it.
So they didn't want it. So like they have 270.
People bring food from
why
home.
can't we just buy all the food with that funding of that person's card and just have it for free that week? Like what the fuck? Makes no sense. But yeah, it was very generous to get
the
that.
way they fed us on lunch was like a completely contractual situation.
Dude, it reminds me. Remember that Black Mirror episode of that dude who lives in the future and there's like game
40
shows.
million credits.
Yes.
Yeah, or 15 million
It
credits.
was like that type of shit.
Yeah.
I love that episode.
Like that time
I did too.
That was a good fucking
I did too.
Yeah.
But it was like that, but not as cool, not as sci-fi.
Yeah, all of you were like wearing these like suits and shit. Like,
Blue. We're
each department had different color
we all had the
scrubs.
blue scrubs, different colored blue. Or whatever,
I think you guys were
scrubs for different
green and
departments.
we
had
packaging was blue.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, all different scrubs. And then this particular place had a big old hallway with maybe 7 or 8 rooms, and then
Grow rooms or
grow rooms. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There were a couple of there was a couple of vegetation rooms where they'd have all the mothers and all these different things going on.
Really?
Yeah. Dude, it was awesome. When I went to my interview, I was like, like yes, I'm down. I'm like so down. It's like it's so easy to get recruited in there. I think honestly, right out of high school is probably the perfect job right out of high school, but
they do seem to hire a lot of young people.
You go to dispensaries now.
It's ridiculous. There's so
Well,
much
the
money in
thing-
it, man. How the hell can't you?
I don't think they know enough a lot of times nowadays.
Well, all right. So that goes back to COVID, dude. Did you get laid off during COVID? All packaging, right? You were one of the ones.
Yeah, I came back.
You know who they got in your place? Cultivation. They got all of us to just
I
do
heard
that
about
work
it.
too.
Yeah, they brought you guys in.
Did they sell less weed during COVID? No. Did they grow all the same fucking weed? Yes. Did they give anybody raises? No.
It was so bad on my department, right?
Harder, essentially.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
Some people got forced from packaging to your cultivation during the layoff. Remember?
Yes.
A handful of people switched because they had no other choice.
Right.
That's what they do to you too. They're like, yo, you can either come here and that's it, like, or go. They ended up calling me. They hit me with like, we're gonna lay you off, but we're probably gonna call you back. We're gonna call like a small team back.
Yeah.
Shortly, but you're gonna be on that list. So don't be worried.
You just
oh my
sit tight.
God, I remember.
Don't get another job or any other goals.
I
Or
I just remember
anything.
people coming in that day. We were like,
I believed it, dude. At that time, I was so like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because working in weed is so rare at that point from our experience in our life that I'm like, yo, I'm still willing to wait. I'll still whatever. And
there were some people that are just like, I'm learning so much good stuff here. It's like that's great, but what do you? I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, you can become manager or something else. But
I ran into that wall, dude.
Yeah.
Doing almost like 4 or 5 years there. I went from learning everything I could,
or
to a point where like they just limited me. They saw that I was so valuable. They were like, at some point, if I must have dawned on them, they're like, yo, we're gonna just nip this in the bud before he thinks dollar signs.
That's what blows my mind always. Is like I worked in delivery, right? And we made pretty good money during COVID days, especially because like they were looking to pay us a lot of money for dealing with what were work hazards at the time, right? But like people in cultivation and people in production were still just shat on. And like entry level pay in those positions is what, like $17, $18 an hour for
I think it's 17, or 17.51. I think was
they
what they got bumped up to when I left.
No, dude, it's at a point, bro. Like, yo, I feel like arguably you could even make more that Target. Like if you're a kid in college, you could go to Target and if you're making financial moves, you're probably better off going to Target.
You can work for Target and make more money, get better benefits.
Dude, I had to Uber the whole time I was there. I mean, because I was living in an apartment by myself, but it fucking
boggling,
sucked. I remember there were some very questionable characters that came through.
Yeah, I mean that's
there were some people who just came and then disappeared, and we never saw them again. But there were fights. There were these two people who started spraying each other with the hose and.
Really?
Oh,
yeah, actually, and it sucked. I like both of those dudes, and like I don't know, they had some sort of beef, which is you know what it stems from. It stems from coming in day to day and working at this fucking job and getting shit on, and now you got this guy talking shit or saying something,
right?
And they got fired, and then they both got fired.
Were you there during the drama that they went through the chum bucket? They went through the soil drama. They got penalized.
Yes.
This made the news. Right, because the chum bucket basically got fined for using Clonex in their.
Yeah, there were some falsified documents saying this and that, but also Clonex is like fine except for Massachusetts, right?
Yes, because Massachusetts is supposed to be organic. So, like, did you ever actually work with the Clonex?
Yeah,
like,
we had some. Probably, I don't remember Clonex specifically.
Yeah,
but
well, no, because I heard that like they did a real good hush hush job of like only keeping a few people aware of it.
Definitely,
and then
dude.
Because
you know what?
That's who were.
Sure. Yeah, that's probably in the clone room. Yeah.
That's probably and you never worked in the clone room?
I did a little bit, but I would usually just do the cloning where you shave it, you dip it in the stuff, and then you and you put it in a little sponge, you put them in there.
So it must have been something like somebody pretty higher up. They kept it so hush hush that like the own workers, when we read our own shit and we were like, yo, what the fuck?
How long ago was it that you worked there?
So I stopped working end of 2021, maybe, or end of 2020. And I don't think I made it to Thanksgiving that year.
Okay. So it was like about a year that you were in it, or
about a year.
Would you ever go back?
If they want to pay, if they want to pay me what I'm worth, for sure. But no, actually I don't, because why get dirty if you can just like scan shit in a system, learn, and then people are going to send you email. They're going to show you an Excel sheet, and it's like, it's like, I don't know, just go do that shit instead. I swear you have the skills to do it. If you can trellis a room of weed plants when they're growing high, you have to get the third or fourth layer. If you could do that shit for $17 an hour, dude.
Yeah,
telling you, take these skills and get into a field and get into the life sciences.
Sure.
Biosciences.
So I want to hear about that process. Like, trellising weed plants.
The trellising weed. Yeah. Right.
And how far into the job would you say were you into it? Like when you started doing that?
That was all the first week. We do there's a few different processes. So you do the transplant, which is when you have the things that come from veg. They're now ready to get put into a bigger pot so they can grow bigger.
Sure.
You do all
clones,
that.
Essentially, right?
They're all clones.
Yeah.
And then you wheel that. Somebody wheels that into the room, and they set them all up. They get the water thing going in there, and then I think we had a couple of different methods. We decided to like get the trellis on there first and then lower it down to them. Some
Was it a
people said-
hydroponic operation? Like,
Was
it running water?
Yeah. We had these
think
little
so.
like water feeder things that went right into the soil.
Yeah.
That would go, and then there would be a manual water with like vitamins, all that, whatever the hell. they put in
Right,
there.
right.
I don't have the weed terminology down at all. Like you do the transplant, you do that, you set up the room, and then the first layer of trellis is usually pretty easy because plants aren't that big.
Mm-hmm.
But the next week, man, they grow that much bigger, and they're all going through. You don't want them to sag. You want to keep them up. So it's a big like wax rope, netting,
Yeah.
like nylon netting that you put in that has like a bunch of little squares.
How often did you guys harvest? Would you say
Every fucking week.
Every week there was a
Every
harvest?
week.
dude.
How much
Maybe
would you
twice
say?
a week.
How much would you say you guys yielded, like in your estimate that you dealt with, at least a day or a week, at least
Dude,
during harvest?
millions.
Y'all used to ask for help too, mind you. There was a couple of times, D-Day, like they would ask, they would just go into the like our packaging door and be like, "Hey, we need like a couple people."
Yeah.
And I was one of the people who was like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah," like
Sure.
So-
Right.
It's fun, man. When you do the harvest, it's kind of fun. Everybody's listening to music. Everybody's shooting the shit.
Yeah.
The people are always, I mean, anywhere you work, the people are always going to, I mean, unless you suck, people are usually going to be. You're going to meet
Sure,
somebody
sure.
cool. I don't know.
He's like, "Yo, unless you just suck."
Unless you, there's always those guys, but like, I've taken friends from every place I've ever worked, but.
Yeah. And then, like, what was a harvest?
Well, dude, you know what sucks about the
you-
harvest? So
yeah.
much weed falls on the ground.
Mm.
So fucking much, man.
Really?
So
Mm.
much. So I would take it.
You would take
Hell yeah, dude.
No shit.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah.
I mean, dude, like not at first at all, but
Sure.
after I was just like,
yeah.
after my soul was crushed,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, dude. I'd be
Right.
like, I'm okay. Oh no, I'll go throw it away.
Right.
Fuck that, dude.
Right.
You know,
right.
technically, what it is, regulation says that we put it in a specific colored.
Oh yeah,
bag.
it's definitely illegal, all that shit,
And
but
then
it's
you-
such bullshit.
I'm
Oh, I
pretty
know.
sure-
I know what the
It's so
wasting
dumb,
process is like, and so explain actually what the legal wasting process is like. Because
you gotta sweep it up. You gotta put it in these green bio bags. You gotta weigh them up on a hook. You gotta write down the weight. You gotta sign off and then throw it over the cage. Fucking,
And they
you
get
probably have to
burned.
open the cage and do it. We just throw it over,
and they go and burn it.
and then they go
Oh,
burn
they-
it. Whatever,
they
it doesn't
burn
matter.
it.
They
Really?
just
They
they just want
incinerate
to
it?
know that nobody's smuggling out weed. Or it's like okay,
Sure,
or
sure.
I,
It's
I guess
recycled.
it's one of the
Recycled.
reasons.
They have to incinerate it. I mean,
Right.
There's no other way you can recycle.
So
fucking bud.
there's no way for them to know, that there wasn't more waste. It doesn't it's not like you're gonna take so much that they're like, wait, you yielded this much, but only had this much waste compared to this one. Maybe that's
Right.
one way they could find out. But
Right.
I'm sure,
this
like
wasn't that. This was like, dude,
Yeah.
could I just smoke for free instead of getting my 10 pre-rolls, my 10.5 pre-rolls for
Sure.
a month
right.
that you then withdrew?
Yo.
And then on Thanksgiving, after COVID, after all this shit, after they fired half the fucking staff and had us do their jobs and have do two jobs, for Thanksgiving, they gave us a thank you note and they gave us 2 masks and
like
a
a
small
hand-
bag, a small thing of
hand sanitizer.
hand sanitizer. And they said, thank you for all you do. Thank you for your help. That was our Thanksgiving present. It's like, dude, you could have like literally come in and spit in my mouth and it would have been better. No, all right. Well, that wouldn't have been better.
It would've been-
But like, seriously,
I don't
nothing
know.
would have
Some
been
people might
just
have
doing
interpreted it as
nothing.
better.
Nobody was expecting anything. That's just the worst thing.
Just don't give us anything, right? Like essentially at that point. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. That always, I always bring that up. I'm
That's
just like,
all. No,
"God,
it's
they
not.
sucked."
Unbelievable.
There's
They
a lot-
underplayed it
Thank
too.
you
The
note-
HR dude, man, like he was like that kind of like
Oh, I know
that
who
bro.
you're talking about.
Yeah. He was that guy. Like, oh, I fuck with this guy. No, snake in the grass.
Really?
I
Yeah.
mean,
No, that-
it's
I mean,
it
that's
is what it
another-
is, dude.
I
That's
mean-
what their jobs were. What are they
Common
gonna do?
thing,
Like, you're
yeah.
right, Shaun. Let's go.
right.
Fucking
Right.
I would hate. I it's hard because I would have to be fair and say maybe HR is almost the same in every field because
Yeah.
relatively it probably is. But yo, HR in the cannabis field, bro.
That-
I just
yeah.
for several
No, they're-
every company.
Always
company.
the advocate
in
of the
retrospect,
company,
though,
never
crazy.
the advocate of the employee.
This guy said
That's
to me
the-
though, this is in the beginning, man. This is
He
before,
tried to be our friend, man.
This is like beginning COVID days. This is like 2-week lockdown, whatever.
Yeah.
This guy, I'm just like, I'm telling him like, dude, so what are we doing about hazard pay? Is there going to be hazard pay? We're doing twice the amount of work. Like shit that's normal. So I remember him, he's like, you know how many cases we've had so far? 0. We've had 0. All right. And I'm just like, I'm talking to him and I'm like, I'm in my chair with the sunglasses on in the room. Like, and he's coming to talk to me because he's trying to put out some fires.
Sure.
But yeah, no fucking hazard pay. Why would we do hazard pay? You're just going to come and work every fucking day during the pandemic.
Jesus.
And
his
you're gonna
excuse
do
was
two
that we
different
didn't
jobs.
have any.
You have 0 cases, okay?
Dude, it was
right in the beginning. You know what I mean? It's just like the arrogance. It's just like
seriously.
you're the human resource. Well, whatever.
No, I agree. I agree. That's incredibly arrogant and shitty to like reflect that on employees that have to work in such a closed space. You were describing before, like you're in an enclosed space with 39 other
room
people.
Is the size of this fucking room, man.
Yeah,
it literally, right? I mean, at least where the lockers and the benches are is this room to a fucking inch, dude. Right. This is exactly the size, and the showers would be like right there. Yeah, tiny.
That's unbelievable.
And like,
and you would have 30 people in that room.
Definitely. And there was plenty of big fucking dudes. There were like a bunch of big ass fucking dudes.
Sure,
and we're all just in there.
You're one of them.
That's what I'm saying, man. I was not alone. Too many. I remember we're talking about the union, talking to the union people, and having some Skypes with we were talking about the well, there is the forget the name of the union, whatever. So UFCW
I got 1445.
Yes,
yeah,
and I remember them talking about the rates. It would be like $19 an hour or so to start.
Yeah,
and then you'd work a year, and you'd get like that raise to like $19.85 or some shit like that, which isn't great, but the thing is,
not even as much as I'm making now.
Yeah, of course, ridiculous. No. So it wasn't even that it was going to be a game changer. It would have been like, you would have been able to have a growth there, but it's also like where they're starting at. You know what I mean?
They're starting at bargain basement right
exactly,
now.
Man. Yeah. So, but even then, like, so after like 5 years, you'd be at like $24 an hour or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
wouldn't even be that great.
Right.
But back then, to where back then it was shitty for I was in the carpenters union before that, so I was making $30+ an hour as a journeyman carpenter. I was shitty at carpentry.
You went from making $30+ an hour,
dude,
to making $17 an hour, for cannabis, and you were willing to do that to work in cannabis.
No, it was just a bunch of circumstances. I just needed a job. I was at my relative's house. You know, I'm not trying to be a man in his 30s, just being like, hey, you got any more sliced cheese? Like
for sure
they would have that cheese, but I can't do that to them.
They would have that.
So I got out of there and I got this apartment in Fitchburg, and I was just doing fucking. So I was like, you know what, the weed farm, fuck it, I'll do it. I'll work overtime, which I did. Everybody did. There wasn't a lot of overtime to go around, but like, I would have like not a lot of money to spare each. Getting rent sucked like the whole time I was there. It was a dumb move.
Would you say, Shaun, that like it's like you worked in a gross facility? Like, did you say like or would you say like everybody was pretty compliant? Did you ever have issues with like infection, that kind of shit? Like with
no, there was some bugs, there was some infestation. They've got a grip on it eventually, but somebody was definitely some. They kept on trying to add more layers of sanitary,
really,
to the entry, the layers of sanitation and whatnot.
So you were saying you were doing harvests every
week, right?
Every week,
about
twice a week, I think. Yeah, maybe once a week, and then it ramped up twice. They added, I think, 2 rooms when I was there, and I think since then they added more. 6 or 7 rooms.
Yeah, that's
great.
Really?
They fucking added a whole. There was a big, gross, like warehouse side of things with all the old, different soil they've had and whatever shit, old packaging that's not regulation, whatever the shit they got to get rid of, and that they transferred
just like
all that
staging area that they would
just like the back warehouse. They had a whole guy for that job too, which I was kind of thinking, I'm like, shit, I should get that because I think he made a little more too. Yeah, that would have been a better job. Just fucking chill out
and pay that guy off.
Yeah, I might come back to the industry now.
Yeah, there was always construction going on there.
You said at a certain point, like the honeymoon phase was over. At what point would you say that was? Like how long into it were you working at this job that you were like, all right, maybe this isn't so great?
I think I started in November maybe of 2019, and then by March of 2020, it was like, it was no good. I mean, COVID had started, so it was
interesting.
It was ridiculous, man. It sucked. And then living near it too, I think I had a little bit of an extra sort of like I was just a little too stuck in it, you know what I mean? Just the fact that I go home and I'm just like, I'm still like within like walking distance of this place that sucks.
There's no recharge.
It was around COVID, you would say, that it really started going sour for you.
Yeah.
And was that because of like the risk of cross contamination, that kind of a thing, like where you were
Honestly, nobody really knew what was going on. People obviously people still fucking have all their own crazy theories about it, but
for sure.
But at that time, nobody really knew. So everybody's good. But I don't really care. I just what sucked, man? I wish we got laid off and got the motherfucking checks, man. That would have been great. Oh, unemployment. Oh shit, there's a COVID check for people who got laid off. That would have been good.
That's so
actually that's you know what? That's the other thing too. A lot of the people who did get laid off and we stayed, they fucking benefited from that shit, which is great. I'm glad. Yeah. But holy shit. How the hell didn't we get anything, except for 2 masks and some.
You were still working and you were making less money than they were.
Yeah. A lot of people were salty about that.
Yeah,
I get it.
The pandemic checks. You get
we got $1,200 from the government. Okay, you should be fucking thankful.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
No, that should change my life. Dude. But that's the thing. I actually came off of that unemployment to work in the weed industry too, so I kind of know how you feel.
Unemployment sucks. I hate that shit.
It makes you feel like shit because
you're entitled to it. Hard to get. It's hard to do.
They make you jump through the hoops of fucking applying to 3 different places, all that shit. Yeah.
There's always some sort of emotional drama that comes with finally getting to fucking unemployment.
Yep. So when shit started to go sour with this place, right? What was that? When did you start speaking up and how did that happen?
So, the big thing was when they fired everybody in packaging and they had us do the packaging job.
Right.
Which is another thing that ties into the thing that I put on my resume. It's like, fuck it. You know what? I gassed all that shit up.
Yeah.
All the, there was plenty of things I learned in the packaging thing. Did I do it twice or whatever? I didn't, whatever those 3 months or whatever we did it.
Right.
I used all that shit to my advantage eventually, and everybody should. But that fucking sucked, dude. Now you're doing twice the amount of work, getting no more pay.
Yeah.
People don't fucking care about you. They're trying to stay afloat during the pandemic. They're doing it off of your back.
Right.
And even still, you still got the $30 stipend, which gives you a minimum 4 of those little sandwich things, or maybe a piece of fucking cake.
Oh, for the lunch.
And a bag of Cape Cod chips.
Just snacks.
For real.
I was always griping. For the record, I was always griping. I was the bitchy and moany motherfucker because I would go in and it was all snacks for 3rd graders, man. And I get it.
Yeah.
Everybody's indifferent, man.
It's always
what about the thing that was 1,100 calories? That was 2 waffles and a piece of chicken that you could microwave.
1,100.
Dude, some of
it was just the grubbiest. It was the
people
shittiest.
had found hair and bugs in their food from the same company. It was
really.
There was always plenty of stories from lunches there, man.
They would provide these amenities and then they weren't amenities.
Realistically, though,
to partake in.
Here's the thing: they give you a card with I think each week was $25 from
something like that.
$25, meaning that you can go into the little cafeteria or the lunchroom and they had a section with all snacks.
Yeah.
Right. They had a little fridge with I guess food, which was a little styrofoam with this and that. That's literally what it was, or a sandwich. Right. But the thing is, they charged you for a point system in that system, that card. That you could siphon off for $25 a week. The only thing is, a lot of that shit was charged retail prices. So you get a bag of chips, it was $2, $3.
Yeah.
You get a fucking muffin, it's just $2 to $4.
Yeah.
What was their reason for firing you?
For not changing out of my my not showering before I came in. Is what they got me on.
Really?
Yeah, because they saw me run out real quick in a fucking tie back and come back in. They saw me not change, something like that. Wow. That's the technical thing. I think they got me on or whatever. But, dude, it was the fucking.
That's the thing.
I was the squeaky wheel, and you know what sucked, man? My manager at the time, which I know who it is.
Yeah.
Man, like I was telling you earlier, and I said I wanted to save it, but it's Of Mice and Men, like Lenny, taking me out in the back and just having to shoot me, knowing it. This dude was almost had a tear in his eye. I felt really fucking bad.
Oh my god!
So he had to be all right, hold on, I got a special project with you. It was I was I was really going through it during that whole time. I'm sure everybody was. Nobody, I'm not special, but
sure.
I was having a good day that day because there was a lot of rotten days on my end. My manager came up. He's like, actually, I have a different project for you. I'm like, all right, cool. We're walking down the hall. And he's just I'm cracking jokes. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And he's not really giving me, I'm like, oh, he's in a mood, whatever. And they took me in that room, and it's the one manager that I really hated, who sucks. Yeah. And the HR guy, I thought I was going to do some special project. No, special project. Get the fuck out of here. So they gave me the pink slip and the last check. I'm like, oh shit. I look back at my manager, and he couldn't look me in the eye, man. He was really bummed that they had him do me like that. But Yeah, so I was out and I fucking texted everybody I knew before I left because I had to change out of my fucking onesie that I was in.
I think you texted me that day.
I definitely texted every
sure
fucking
you
buddy I
texted
knew. I'm like, yo, they're fucking firing me, dude. Like, this is like, I forget.
texted
I
me.
called up the union. I said this, I said that, whatever.
Sure.
I'm not the fucking guy. Dude, I'm too loud. I had no tact, whatever. So they walked me out.
You called the union out?
Yeah,
there.
they
What did
didn't really
say?
have much to say, but they did
Yeah.
keep up with them, and they put a bunch of flyers on cars and shit like that. Whatever. I mean, they had to have union bashing meetings over there apparently afterwards.
Are there parts about it that you really like are nostalgic about that you miss about the job?
Yeah, dude. All the friends, dude. There was funny shit all the time, even in the cafeteria, whatever. During the harvest, that shit was chill. Blasting music on the speaker.
Explain to us exactly what a harvest was like. Like was this a day that you had to plan ahead for, and it was like all hands on deck kind of a deal, or like?
Yeah, because you had these, you had this other department that would handle the weighing and separation and storage into the the bags that temper it and whatever and age it and whatever the fuck it's called.
I would imagine this is like one of the most important parts of the process too, because they're like weighing living plants. And
it's the wet weight of like the the harvest. So
yeah,
and they got to mark all of it. They got to, and then there's further like trimming that goes on, but yeah, you just cut it. There's a bunch of rows. There's like 12 rows of plants.
Fully grown, fully
deep. Like shelves,
fully grown, huge.
Like if you see shelving here, I'll explain what the shelves were like. Just probably most facilities. Mm-hmm. You go to Home Depot, you see those shelvings that the Home Depot spot has. Those orange shelvings. We literally at our spot used those same shelvings, except we didn't just we would just put plants on them instead of shelves. So just picture the Home Depot shelving in all those aisles.
How many layers?
Just one level.
Yeah.
But just imagine like a big
line
fucking
of 3 all the way down.
And then the lights on the top, I imagine.
Lights all the way through. And they'd be, some of these plants would get, 6 feet tall sometimes. Wow.
It's like as tall as you, basically.
Yeah, man. Dude, they get big, but they're elevated too. So
yeah,
you would get the steps though. We had some short people working with us too. So we would get
me.
Yeah. Dude, like just having to get up there and do all that. Then you just kind of have like an assembly line. Some people would be like plucking and putting down. Some people would be gathering that and bringing it into a bag and bringing it to the other people so they could further trim it, weigh it, all that shit.
Yeah.
So you're going down, you basically have a big trash bag with like the green bucket and all the trim.
Yeah.
You just blah, 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 blah. You rip it off and you throw it away.
So you're hand picking it.
Yeah. And you got the gloves and you're getting resin. Oh, dude, it's crazy. Yeah.
Amazing. I love that part.
And you're doing all that.
What were you doing with the gloves afterward? You had to toss them, I imagine.
Yeah,
right?
you get gunked up and you just toss it all.
The amount of gloves you go through is crazy, right?
Yeah, a lot of waste, man. And then all the bud that ends up on the ground, dude. You don't pick it up and put it in the finished product. I mean, I honestly, you fucking should. They should just eliminate that rule and nobody would steal it if that was the thing. Well, that's not true. But there's so much bud on the fucking floor, man.
And you have to imagine it's a pretty clean facility too. So it's not like there's a lot of stuff on the floor.
The cleanup is pretty rigorous after every fucking harvest, dude. That's like the shittiest part.
That's why it's not called dirt or
and
dirty.
So how much do you think would fall on the floor? Like give us a ballpark figure.
You could get an ounce easy, dude, after a harvest on the floor.
Really?
Oh shit. If you wanted to get everything off the floor that fell, multiple ounces, dude. Like maybe 5 ounces every harvest, you're just gonna lose on the floor.
What would they yield out of a single harvest?
Shitload. It wouldn't matter all the shit
like
that's on the floor.
Talking.
I don't really remember.
How many batches?
13 pounds.
Oh shit. So you would have to make 2 separate
depending on the
tags,
room.
basically?
Depending on the room, it would be no. Shit. I don't know, man. A lot. It was a lot. They grew a lot of fucking weed. And they added on too. So
what do you mean added? Oh, you're talking about
they added even more
facility.
room. So
right.
I think the lowest yielding room, like the smallest room they had, like the retail would be like 600,000 on it. You know what I mean? So it's like, and that was like every fucking week. So
every week
it would just cascade. So
I
we
think
had
14 pounds sounds pretty accurate for what you're thinking. I think that's like a number that's when I was in the weigh room.
Wow. And what was like the time from seed to smoke? If you were like, or not seed to smoke, but like clone to smoke, essentially. How long would it take with a metric tag to go?
3 months, I think. Every 3 months, every 2.5 months.
3 months. So 90 days, 90-day turnaround, basically.
Yeah. Wow. And it would cascade. So there would always be one to harvest. There would always be one that's starting.
Yeah. And would you say that like these harvests were on like a hard schedule, or would they modify the schedule for like
they're on a pretty hard
mitigating
schedule.
factors? Really?
Yeah.
So they wouldn't hold back like a harvest if they thought, oh, these buds aren't like really matured or that kind of a thing.
We would throw out plants that sucked. If there was a bug infestation, then yeah, that would be fucking scrapped. So sometimes.
And you wouldn't remediate that flower, like they wouldn't send it to concentrates or anything like that, or you weren't able to?
Yes, I believe so. Some of the shit was able to be pressed into stuff, but if it had mold or bugs, I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, again, do you feel like though, like even if there were shit going around back then, that it was kind of like, I guess, over your head, so to speak, type of shit?
Oh, for sure.
Because you know what I mean? Like, to be fair, like, that's how it operates a lot of times. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Would you say like your job, like the things that you did were basically on a need to know basis, and they would just give you a set of instructions to do?
Oh, for sure. There was plenty of awesome people there who would show you certain things, but
sure.
There's just a lot of work to be done, so that's fine. I didn't even really mind that. It's just the fact that I mean, really, when it came down to it, was just the firing half the staff, making us do twice the work, not doing anything about pay, not even hazard pay during COVID. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
they sucked in my book. They're my mortal enemy now. So
yeah,
I hope. Well, no, I don't hope, because I still have people who I like who still work there.
I feel you.
I hope everybody's fine. I hope the CEOs of that place have to get fired and they have to get somebody else, or maybe they promote from within or something 100%. Crazy.
No,
like
I'm with you on that. Yeah. Well, Dick, having you on the show, I appreciate you
homie.
coming on the show, man. Yeah, absolutely. And if you ever want to be on again, let us know. Absolutely.
If you got anything going on you want to share with people.
Do you have any other side projects that are going on?
Plug yourself. Come see Tree, man. That's they're a Boston staple, man. They've been preaching, weed rights since the fucking 90s.
Word. Okay. And you basically, just like for people like to understand, like you play with them.
I play guitar. We got a bass player, drummer, and the singer is the OG dude from Tree.
Okay.
And we're keeping it alive, man. We're playing a bunch of shows. We're playing New Hampshire. We're playing Portland House of Music March 23rd.
Yo, big shout out
to Vault in New Bedford on April 5th.
Fuck yeah,
okay.
Bro.
Yeah. We got some shows, man. Come see it. It's good, man. It's punk rock. It's pro weed. Anti-establishment.
I was gonna say, any April dates you want to say, because this is probably going to be released around probably like the middle end of March. Let's say.
Hell yeah, man. Vault in New Bedford, come through, and maybe hopefully Brighton Music Hall soon. So check out Tree Music 617.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those names,
Yeah.
Tree Music 617, the Mighty Tree, great band.
That's what's
up, man. Happy to be part of it.
Appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, man.
Love having you on. Thank you so much for being here. Hope to have you again. Yeah, and thanks for being on Behind the Bud. We'll see you next time. Peace out, bro. Let's fucking smoke some more.